Hey, welcome back to another episode of Take Back My Brain. And today I have a lovely treat for you again. We have Julianne Trimble with us today, and she's one of the most beautiful women that I've ever met. And so, Julianne, thank you for being on the podcast today.
Well, you're welcome, and what an awesome introduction. I'll have to do these more often for you.
There you go. I would love that. I would love that. Definitely. So I met you at a Live It to Lead It conference. We were just discussing, I don't know, probably the last time I saw you was, we were saying pre-COVID. So
Yep.
maybe 3-4 years ago. And you introduced me to a product line from ASEA, ASEA. And we'll have all that in the show notes for you. And I had never actually been exposed to a Redox molecule supplementation. And so I was really fascinated by it. And so I started using it, and I use it with quite a few of my clients. And so I really wanted to have a conversation about what the heck is that? Why did you get involved? Tell me your story, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Well, would you like me to first off, I need to let everybody know that I am not the expert that Lori is. So when I go to these doctors' conferences, it's always a little bit overwhelming for me because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I don't have all the education that Lori has.
She's being
So,
very humble, but yes.
yes, but sometimes that's good
Mm-hmm.
because I can explain it in a way that hopefully people such as myself, people who would be coming to see you,
Yes.
might be able to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I like to tell people is that redox signaling molecules, and you're going to catch on to this real quickly. I've been doing this for 12 years. I've been around this product for 12 years now, and I still cannot very easily say the word signaling.
Oh.
So I'm gonna throw that out there to you guys. But what it is they are cell signaling molecules.
Mm-hmm.
And these molecules are so tiny. They're super tiny molecules. And they're be into the cell very quickly.
Okay.
And once they're inside your cell, they basically act as an on-off switch. Turning on, that cell's signaling capability with the other cells that are around it.
Okay. So it's more like a communication stimulant.
Yes. And then what happens is once that cell starts signaling properly, the switch has been turned on, it is able to then turn around and communicate with the other cells that are around it and turn them on. Okay. And you end up with kind of a domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what we're doing is making the communication between all the cells in your body operate at its max capacity.
Okay.
And so a lot of people, what happens is when you're able to create this domino effect or this cascading effect, domino sounds like you're falling down, so that might not be the right word. We'll use cascading. It just really it helps with our resilience to different stressors, whether those are stressors that are coming from the inside or stressors that are coming from the outside. And then it also just really lends to our overall well-being. And so when people ask me, we are 100% natural product, and as many of you who would be seeing Lori would know, it's hard for us to make actual claims.
Yes.
Doctor type claims on these types of products. But people will ask me all the time, like, well, will it help me with this health challenge or that health challenge? And what I like to tell people, actually what I like to do is I like to ask them a question. And that question is, well, I can't make any claims, so I'm not going to answer that question per se. But my question to you is, if the cells in your body were healthier and they were all communicating and being told what it was they were supposed to be doing, Do you think that might help you with whatever issue you're dealing with?
Absolutely.
And that's kind of where I leave it at, and then it's really fun to watch and see what happens to people
Right.
as they introduce this product to themselves.
So, and all the other things that we're trying to do, in the nutritional and therapy stuff that I do, is the ASEA kind of like seals the deal for people, that
Yes.
redox reaction, because my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that because of our environment, because of where we are in the world, our redox signaling system in our own body has been damaged. And then we
And
also
what's
don't have all the redox signals in our water and our soil that we used to have.
Well, what's crazy about that, Lori, is the fact that even if we lived in a perfectly pristine environment
Mm-hmm.
and didn't have all the toxins surrounding us and all that, we peak in our ability to make these molecules, like
Okay.
right around 20.
Oh.
And then every decade, we lose about 10% of our ability to create these molecules.
Okay.
And really, honestly, that's kind of the aging process in a nutshell.
I say that really takes us to 120. So then we really should be done.
There we go.
Right?
There we go. So yes, I mean, and then if you've got somebody who already just naturally is losing their ability to make as many of these molecules, and you throw different stressors on them,
Mm-hmm.
it can really do a number. And reintroducing these redox signaling molecules into a person's body. And one thing that a lot of people don't realize is, we all hear about antioxidants.
Right.
What a lot of people aren't aware of is that antioxidants, they need to be activated. And guess how they're activated?
By the redox molecule.
Yes.
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 Yeah. I love that. So it just makes everything else better.
Yes.
When I tell my clients, like, what is this? I'm like, it'll just make everything else we're doing better.
Mm-hmm.
Just trust me on it. Just trust me on it. Yeah. So tell me your story, because usually there's a reason why we get into these things. I mean, you didn't end up at the conference that I was at for no reason. So what made you interested in redox molecules, and why did you start?
Well, I used to own a spa. And it was a very high-end spa. Pardon me?
Which is super exciting, because we're going to get into that in just a minute.
Yeah. And so, of course, I was introduced to every product in the world. But a lot of what we did was we made a lot of our own products.
Okay.
That, like, according to the season, because healthcare is people don't realize that they stay with the same, for instance, skincare regime all year long. But really, honestly, there's certain things that you need to do at the beginning of every season.
Okay.
To either prepare or repair, for instance, what the summer is going to do or what it did to you.
Okay. That's good to know.
Same thing
I
with
don't
the
think I've
winter.
ever done that. Yeah.
And so I was always hearing about every product, and because I've always been more of a natural health person, I was the go-to for a lot of different people, and especially my family, when something new would come around and I would be asked to look at it. And my brother had ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, and his was a very progressive case. And my mom was his primary caregiver. And she called me one day,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, "Hey, I've got something I want you to look at. I think it might really help Sheldon." That's my brother's name. And I had not heard of redox signaling molecules.
Okay.
And just because I know any of you that are going to look at this product, I may as well throw it out there, because you're going to have the same reaction I did. I was like, "Well, what's it made out of?"
Right.
Salt and water.
Salt and water.
I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
But she's like, "I'm serious. I really want you to look at this." And so I went to, the first place I went to was PubMed.gov,
Yeah.
and just put in the word redox. And I was shocked at how much research was being done on redox.
Okay.
Okay. And then I also, because this was my brother's life we were talking about, so I also contacted one of the smartest men I know,
Mm-hmm.
who's very into natural health. And I said, "I need you to look at this with me," because they're thinking about giving it to my brother. So we agreed to do our research that night, and in the morning we reconnected, and he said something that just has always stuck with me.
Okay.
And what that was he says, this is either the key to a whole lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
the missing piece, or it's absolutely nothing. He's like, there's no in between on this product.
Sure.
You know, it's
Yeah.
either amazing or it's a scam.
Right.
And but bottom line, it's not going to hurt your brother.
Mm-hmm.
So he got on it. And I will say, I mean, we just did it according to like the directions, and
Yeah.
that 4 ounces a day. If I'd known more at that time about it, I would have like really
Bottle a
doused
day.
him in the stuff, you know. But when he got on it, let's just say that I don't know if any of you guys have been around somebody with ALS, but my brother had progressed so far that he couldn't hold his head up anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't talk. He couldn't hold a pencil or pen or type letters on a keyboard. So you couldn't communicate with him.
Yeah.
And it didn't save his life.
Okay.
But what I will say is that when he went home,
Mm-hmm.
he was able to hold his head up,
Mm.
which I think is huge for anybody, but I think especially for a man.
Definitely.
And he could hold a pen or pencil and write.
Okay.
So I was able to sit by his hospital bed for like the last 4 days of his life. I still, well, of course, I'm never going to get rid of him. I have reams of yellow legal
Notes.
pads
Yeah.
of things that he had written. But the other cool thing that I have is I still have one more letter that he wrote to his 2 boys
Okay.
for important times. And that, like when they graduated from high school or when they were going to get married.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have the one for when his youngest son finds the right lady to hand him when he gets married.
Aw.
And you know, if that is all ASEA had ever done for me,
Right.
I'd be eternally grateful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but and I really thought my road with ASEA was done because I didn't think I had any challenges.
Sure.
Health challenges. I've been really, really blessed. And but one of those notes that he wrote me was, he said, this is your ticket, because this was like in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know if you're old enough, you remember about 2008 well, picture having a high-end spa
Yeah.
in the middle of 2008.
Yeah.
It was all I could do to keep a roof above my head, you
Right.
know, and above the girls' head that worked for me. And I didn't know what he meant, that it was my ticket. And my mom was the one that told me, well, you know, you could share this product with other people.
Aw.
And that was all she wrote. I've been with the company now, like I say, 12 years.
Wow. Wow. And you've seen amazing transformations, haven't you?
Oh, it's, you know, we have empathy for things that we've each individually been through. And as I've already said, I've been really, really blessed. I mean, I've had people around me get sick, but
Mm-hmm.
I've been really blessed. And so honestly, my empathy and excitement goes more because I was a single mom,
Mm-hmm.
and I did, with no child support, and I did have a spa that basically almost went belly up, you know.
Right.
So where my heart really honestly lies is helping especially women in those situations
Yeah.
financially.
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, and the reason I even explained that about myself is, so for me to at least once a month tear up when that is not where my empathy lies, okay? Like,
Right.
Lori, I love what you do, but I couldn't do what you do,
Sure.
okay? The stories are endless, and it's just an honor to make a difference for people.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So ASEA has quite a few different products that people can, engage with, I should say. So, there's the liquid, right? The Redox. So that one, my daughter, she's been taking it for quite a while now because she had a concussion, and I think it helps. She said she can't tell the difference, but as a mama, you're like, there's definitely a difference in how you process things when she's taking this and then when she's not taking it, for sure. But it does have a funky taste to it. And she's like, I'm drinking pool water.
Uh-huh.
And I said, well, that means you really need it. So anyway, so we've been using it around our house for a bit. And I do, like I said, I do use it with some clients. And I would like to incorporate it more, which is why we're having this conversation, because I just want to learn more. Like, sometimes things get so complicated, like we make it more complicated than what it is. And so going back to like basics, like redox molecules are just really basic science, basic things that your body needs in order to communicate from every cell to cell. So if you don't have that cell communication, then there's an issue. So to me, it just makes sense to make this, part of, all the foundational stuff that I do. So given that, let's talk about, so you had a spa, and so how did you incorporate that with people? So they have a skincare line, which I think is just fabulous, and I use it every single day. And I was going to grab it, but I think my daughter has it all in her bag at the moment. So I can't, like show it to people at the moment, but we have it in our home. We have it in our barn. When we use it,
which sounds weird for a skincare product.
Which is kind of weird for a skincare product, right? So I have the Renu gel is what it's called in the barn. So why don't you just talk about the Renu gel to start with, because that stuff is just flipping phenomenal.
Well, actually, that is how Renu 28 is what it's called. And Renu 28 is how I introduced redox signaling molecules to my clients.
Okay.
Because, in fact, I'll tell you a funny story. This gel is so phenomenal that the first thing I did was get before and after pictures, because like you're going to see like 28% decrease in facial lines, and it tightens your skin. It does all these crazy things, Yeah. And so all I had to do was have all these up where people checked out.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be like, oh my gosh, I need this product. And now you have to understand that my clientele was primarily the wives of the Dallas Cowboys, mm-hmm. the wives of the Stars players. We lived, I didn't live there. I couldn't afford to live there, but the spa was in a very high-end part of Frisco, Texas.
Sure.
Okay. And so just keep in mind that clientele when I tell you this story. So people would be looking at these and they'd be like, oh my gosh, I have to have this product. How much is it? And I would tell them $50. Mm-hmm. And they would literally put the tube back down. Assuming that because this certain group of people, if they didn't pay enough, they figured, good. Yeah, it wasn't any good. So I actually had to talk to ASEA corporate and tell them that, like, look, I'm going to charge more for this product. Yeah. Yeah. And as soon as I did, I couldn't keep it on my shelves. And the thing is it's exact same science as that pouch that Lori's held up. Right. Exact same science, only this is topical. And if you think about it, your largest organ is your skin. Yeah. And the reason we call it Renu 28 is because when we're in our prime, your skin cells renew every 28 days. Okay. But the older we get, once again, just like we don't make as many redox signaling molecules, our skin cells don't renew as quickly as they did. Mm-hmm. So that's, once again, what's really behind the aging of your skin. And so if we can get your skin cells communicating at an optimum level, it is crazy what it can do. Right. And it's not just about, we could probably go conquer the world if all we talked about was wrinkles, cellulite, all these things the women just primarily just don't want to have to deal with, right?
Yeah.
But it has so many other uses. Because if you think about it, one of the things your skin is supposed to do is heal, right?
Mhm. Right.
Like if you get a cut or if you get whatever. I should have been prepared to like flash up some pictures for you, but like my husband got bitten by a dog, like right in this area between thumb and forefinger.
Yeah.
Ended up with 8 stitches right there. So basically it was the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah.
And seriously, just using that gel within, say, 2 weeks, you couldn't even tell he'd been cut.
That's crazy.
That once they took those, well, my husband's a guy, obviously, but he took the stitches out himself.
Right? Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah. And once he did, because they were itching him. But I think what was happening was it was healing so fast.
Yeah.
And so he one night just sat there and picked them out. And within probably 2 weeks, and he doesn't have a scar. He doesn't have anything from it.
That's amazing.
And I, like you, have horses. That's why I was laughing at you that you have it in the barn. It doesn't matter if my horse gets a bug bite, a cut, anything. That's the first thing I use. Because it's all about getting the cells of your skin to do what they're meant to do.
Exactly.
And just kind of putting that on steroids.
Yep.
So
and horses are always getting hurt.
Let's not talk about that.
But we're using it on the barn cats too. You know, sometimes they'll get like their little goopy eyes or they get in a fight with each other. And my daughter's always putting it on the cats. I mean,
I haven't sprayed
cat treatment, I guess, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'll take what's in that pouch and I'll put it. I have that in a spray bottle.
Oh, sure.
Because sometimes it's easier to get to a spot.
Yep. Yeah. And your hair feels like amazing when you spray it in your hair.
Oh my gosh, I know.
The first time I did that, because I had it just spray all over my body before I got the gel. And they're like, oh, let's just squirt it in my hair. And I was like, oh my goodness. It was amazing.
I have a friend who, now she did it with the Renu 28, but one of my best friends in Australia, because I used to live there, she was losing her hair. Now we finally got to the bottom of what was going on, and you would never know that she'd gone through this huge immunodeficiency health challenge. Okay. But it was causing her to lose all of her hair. And just like I think it's more important for men to be able to hold their head up, I think women, it's more important that we keep our hair.
Yes.
And I didn't tell her to do this. And because the first product in Australia was not the drink, it was the gel.
Oh, okay.
And she started just like rubbing it in her hair, in her scalp. And I'm like, ew, because I'm thinking, you know.
Yeah.
The difference in her hair growth.
Wow.
Like within a month was just amazing. And when you can help people with stuff like that, well, it's why you do what you do, Lori.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. It warms the heart.
I can't give a vitamin D supplement and get your hair back. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You have to use something different. Like, yeah. Yeah, I can't picture digestion. Your hair might get thicker eventually, but to be able to offer something that has such a profound effect in 30 days is crazy. Yeah. Oh
yeah. In fact, the one thing that I get disappointed on is I tell people, like, if they're going to use it for their face, I tell them, like, please, please, please take a picture.
And I'm so bad at that. Yeah.
I am too.
Yeah.
Take a picture before you start.
Yep.
And then take it again in 30 days. Because what happens a lot of times, and it's the same thing with the drink. A lot of times people will they'll be like, I don't really feel any different.
Right.
You know, and at least with the Renu 28, it's something you can take a picture of.
Yep.
And you can go, even if you didn't see it until you see that before and after picture for yourself, you're like,
Mhm.
oh,
It's
I
true.
think I'm going to keep doing this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Let's think of all the people that lost their hair with COVID. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, this is like gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got the Renew 28 gel, which is good for oodles and oodles of things. And then they just came out with
I
this.
hope, yeah, I was going to say, I hope you're going to talk about this
Yeah.
mask.
And this is something that I have on order that I haven't used yet. Tell me about the new
Oh
mask
my gosh.
that came out because I can't wait to try it. And I'm gonna
I'm
see before
almost
and
more
after pictures.
excited about this than I was the Renew 28.
That's crazy.
Now, I don't think it's going to be as big of a seller,
Sure.
but one of the things I like about this too is it's not expensive.
Which is beautiful. Mhm.
Yeah. And but I don't know how they did it, because redox signaling molecules are very reactive.
Right.
And so anything they come in contact with, they revert back to salt and water. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
but they were able to combine bentonite clay,
Mhm.
which is the best clay you can use for your face,
Yes. Mhm.
and redox signaling molecules.
Mhm.
And what's amazing about it is this bentonite clay, literally, it acts as a magnet
Mhm.
to helping, because it's positively charged,
Yeah.
and most of the impurities in your skin
Or
are
negative.
negatively charged.
Yeah.
And so it acts as a magnet to pull impurities out of your skin.
Mhm.
And so now and it opens up your pores. And yet at the same time, you're shoving this Renew 28 in there.
Mhm.
And it's like, now once I wash it off, I do follow it up with the gel,
Yeah.
just because I figure, hey, if I'm going to
Might as well do
do
it.
this, I'm going to go all the way.
Yeah.
But I live on a farm,
Yes.
okay? And I am outside probably a good 70% of my day,
Mhm.
whether it's winter or summer,
Mhm.
okay? And especially in the summer, being around the horses, being in the barn, being just whatever, I tend to get a lot of blackheads.
Sure.
And I was so excited that literally the first time I used that clay,
Mhm.
I had no blackheads.
Crazy. I told my daughter that because she's a horse jumper, and so between the helmet and the barn, there's always
Yes.
blackhead, bumpy stuff on her forehead. And I told her what you told me the other day, and she's like, "You ordered that, didn't you?" Oh, I said, "Yes, I did."
Yeah, it's I can honestly say I think it's the best mask, and especially when I like to stress affordability.
Sure.
Yeah, because so often, like, it used to kind of break my heart when I had the spa, and a lot of times people would come in on gift certificates and things like
Sure.
that. They couldn't, and they would look at these products that we had. Like, we had one skincare line that by the time you walked out the door, you were spending a little over $1,000.
Woof. Yeah.
Yeah. And to be I love it for two reasons.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to tell somebody that, you know what, you don't need to spend all that money.
Right.
And you even look at now, I'm sure you feel the same way about it as I do, but you even look at like Accutane,
Yeah.
at how horrible it was for people, but at the same time, how expensive it was.
Oh, for sure. I was on it,
Yeah.
so I know.
And so
Yeah.
be able to tell people that, like, look, for under $100,
Yeah.
you can get this mask, you can get this gel.
Yep.
And the other thing I like about it is some of us women tend to get if we find a skincare line
Mm-hmm.
that works for us,
Yeah.
we don't want to switch it out.
No.
It doesn't matter how good something might look to you,
Yeah.
Do we have a cleanser and a serum and all that? Yes, we do. And they're really, really good. And if
They're amazing.
somebody's looking to change out, I
Mm-hmm.
suggest very highly that they look at what we have.
Right.
But what I love about this mask and the gel is the fact that it's not instead of your skincare line.
Mm-hmm.
It's in addition, and it's doing something that no other product
Right.
is doing.
Right. So it could even enhance what you're currently using and make
Yes. And I like that because
Yeah.
people don't have to give up what they're already attached to. They're just, and if they just think about, we're just addressing the health of your skin cells.
Yeah. 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 So that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So is it just for your face, or can people put it
Oh
on their
no.
back?
Oh
Yeah.
no. It's great for, well, for one thing, for sunburn.
Okay.
It's
great.
We've got studies showing what it does for cellulite.
Yeah. Really.
We've got, like, if you've got the, okay, I told some of my girls a story that they couldn't believe I'd never told them before.
Mm-hmm.
But this, when you say, is it for all over? I have 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I gained over 100 pounds each time.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't because I was eating too much and I didn't have gestational diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I was only 19.
Wow.
The last thing I wanted was to walk out of that looking like I just gained 100 pounds. And, so if anything, the doctor got mad at me for not eating enough to nourish the baby.
Wow.
And they have a name for it. I can't remember what it was. But they said, likelihood is it won't happen again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when it happened again after my daughter, that's why I have 2 kids. Okay, I'm like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. But you can picture all the saggy skin on the belly.
Sure.
It's the same as anybody that's held weight for a long time. That belly stuff just doesn't go away unless you have it cut off.
Right.
And which I probably would have done, except that, as I said, I was a single mom.
Yeah.
I was the only source of income coming into my house. Yeah. And I couldn't afford the downtime even if I'd had the money to do it. So nobody saw me in swimsuits. Forget it.
Mm.
And now, let's just say I'm a swim baby now. I play water volleyball. And I know that sounds like I'm being super vain.
Uh-huh. But no.
But it's all because
I think all the women out there can relate to what you're saying.
Yeah, it took care. It didn't make them. I had some stretch marks like between my belly and the top of my thigh that were an inch wide.
Wow.
I mean, it was stuffed down. I'm still not going to wear a bikini, but I will. That's all from Renu 28.
That's amazing.
I didn't really have the problem with the cellulite and stuff that's what we actually have the studies on.
Yeah.
But it also helps with, as I said, I'm outside all the time. It helps with the sunspots that you get.
Yep.
It helps with those bad cells that you get on your skin.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to stay compliant here.
Yeah, bad cells on your skin that replicate fast.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it. Anything to do with your skin. Yeah. Diaper rash.
I know, right? That's amazing for diaper rash. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's phenomenal on diaper rash.
It should be like, if you're going to a baby shower, you should give every new mom Renu 28.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's the most go-to product I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, really amazing. Awesome. So I was like, you were talking about sunburn, just a tip on stuff, because we went hiking one day and we did a 12,000 foot hike.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was really cold, like a cool day. And so we didn't really think about it, but we still got sunburned, right? Because we got on top of the mountain. And so my daughter and we both had on tank tops. And so we both got really burnt. And so I was super diligent about the Renu 28 and then also the lotion. And I put it on, and like 3 days later, she was peeling like an alligator because she only did it like once. She's like, oh, I put it on once. It was fine. I'm like, no, you got to keep putting it on. So I was doing it like twice a day. I never peeled. Never.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. And here she's like,
I can't recall the last time I peeled.
Should have used the Renu 28.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I I honestly don't remember the last time that I peeled.
Yeah.
And I'm a redhead, in case you can't tell.
Right.
So
Right. You should
I get my
peel a
share of
lot.
sunburns, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. So what would you tell people, like, where to start? Would you tell them to start with the Renew 28 just to give it a shot, or?
You know, honestly, I hope your audience has the same sense of humor as I do. I call Renew 28 my gateway drug. Um,
Yes.
well, because the thing is that with the drink,
Mhm.
do we have the people that like almost immediately they see this huge difference?
Yeah.
But and sometimes honestly, I have red flags go off when they tell me that. I'm like, you know, because I
Mhm.
know how the body works and doing
Right.
things naturally. We're not popping pills to get an immediate.
Mhm.
We're just fixing things.
Right.
Because with the Renew 28, number one, it's price.
Mhm.
Number two, you get to see what it's doing,
Yeah.
and as long as you will remember that, like all we're doing is dealing with the health of your body's largest organs, cells,
Mhm.
okay, then it's easy to go, huh, I wonder what would happen if I put this on the inside.
Right.
And that, I believe, gives people a little more patience because they already know that it works,
Right. Right.
you know, and they'll allow their body to do the repair that it needs.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Just give the body what it needs and the body will do what it's designed to do.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Anything else you want to share?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, we'll
You've
have
made this much
another
easier than I
conversation.
expected it to. I was all nervous.
Oh, don't be nervous. I love this conversation. We'll have to do it again because there's
We
so
will.
many things that we could talk about. But I think it's a good place to start. I'm going to put a link down in the show notes where people can contact you and they can get I think you said like a free tube of the Renew 28 or a sample size or something of
You
that.
bet.
Awesome. All right. So I will put that in the show notes for everybody. Check out the links below. And thank you, Julianne, for joining us today.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Yeah. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And I will see you in the next episode.